armed robbery, habitual offender, aggravated burglary, habitual offender. Sentencing date, March 8, 2001. Sentenced to a total of 45 years. Parole date, August 1st, 2021. Good time, not eligible. Full term, September 15, 2044. Is this information correct, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Ms. Renata.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Lloyd. My name is Cheryl Renata. I'll be asking you some questions this morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Good morning. How everybody doing? God bless y'all.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, Mr. Lloyd, for the record, sir, how old are you?
I'm 46.
How long you been in jail?
Since 1999. I think 23 years.
23 years. Okay. Yeah, I had about 24 years. So you were classified as a habitual offender,
Yes,
and this offense occurred in Union Parish in Farmerville.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to know what your role was in the armed robbery and the attempted murder.
When you say my role, can you repeat
What did
that
you
another way?
do? What did you do? What was your involvement in the crime?
I was a friend to one of the assailants, the participants in the crime. That was my friend, and I gave him bad advice. I wasn't the friend that I could have been more. I feel like I don't feel like if you're 100% wrong, you should apologize. I feel like if you're 10% wrong, you should apologize. And I, as a friend, I didn't do the things that I should have done as far as being older and stepping up and saying, look, man, that's a bad decision, things of that nature.
Well, what did you do? Tell me why you're in jail.
This is a robbery situation, and I went with my friends how can I say, I don't explain this. When you saying what I do, you saying what you would? Okay.
I want to know what you did. I know you have 3 co-defendants, and so everybody was involved in some way. How were you involved?
I think she wants you to be honest, sir. This is the best an opportunity to be honest here.
Yeah. I went with him I went with him, and I regret the decision to go.
I understand, but what did you do, sir? What did you do? You went with him to this robbery. What did you do? Is what I'm trying to get at specifically.
I just went with him. I went with him to the place. I went with him. Just the lookout. Just the lookout to make sure. Just like watch your back.
So you say you were the lookout in the whole situation.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's interesting. So I'm sure you've given some thought to the impact on the victims, particularly the young lady who is paralyzed and was a child at the time.
Yes, I've given a lot of that. As much as this situation has affected me, I always have thought about her mother, the father. I most definitely would like to. I always wanted to speak with them if it was possible. At first, I would like I don't know if they're watching, but I first of all, I would like to talk to the father because that's the head of the house, as a man. And as a man, I was raised in a single parent home and around strong women, and I didn't understand at that time what it took to be a man, and a man having his family, being married, having kids, and protecting his house and providing for his family. I didn't understand none of those type of things, being young and making quick decisions to support a friend, and at the same time, a mother, struggling with her, whatever she had to go through. And then the child, I realized, from looking at my own experiences, I'm a single child. I come from a single parent home, and I'm an only child, and I know the things that my mother had to go through with me. And, you know, she always had said, I didn't realize it till later on. I thought about it. My mother said, this is my first time being a mother. This is your first time being a son. So a lot of things in life that we have to experience, you know, you don't really realize you're making decisions, and sometimes you think those are the best decisions and not the best decisions. Matter of fact, is the victim, I got something I had wrote I wanted to say.
We'll do that at the end. You can do that
okay.
when we close out. You can do it at the end. All right. So you say you've been in jail almost 24 years. Tell me, when did you know you were going to be able to be eligible for parole?
About 90 days ago.
All right.
Well, I knew the legislation was up. I knew that, but the legislation passed in was it September, and I got a new rap sheet in October, but I didn't get it notified until about a parole hearing until about I think that was the end of October.
Right. So after August 1st of 2021, you should have realized you were going to be parole eligible. So I asked that question because when I look at your record, I don't see a lot of programs. I see you were busy a little bit in 2015. You did Cage Your Age, you did Living in Balance, you took the 100-hour pre-release. How come you haven't? I don't see more programs. I do see some skills training also.
I have Louisiana Technical. I went to the compound to Louisiana Technical College. Well, this what happened. They transferred before I came to where I'm at now. This what happened. I was at Camp D. I've been at Camp D for almost 10 years. And all of a sudden, when the new rap sheets came out, less than 90 days, I was transferred to the main prison. And I wasn't, all of these being notified, everything was happening fast. And so they was asking me I've been here 20 years, so I have 3 locker boxes and 2 laundry bags. And they called me about did I have any of the programs that I went through? And I told them that I sent copies everything to inmate records. But I brought some of the stuff here with me.
Well, just tell me what they are.
I went to the Louisiana Technical College for graphic communications. I took the 100 hours.
When did you finish that?
2007.
Okay, and then I see you have welding.
No, that's graphic communication. I don't have welding.
You don't have welding? Okay.
No, ma'am.
And then so those other programs, so 2007, you did the graphic communications, and then you were at Camp D, you say, when you did the Living in Balance and all those other programs?
Yes, ma'am. I have a legal aid program too. I participated in legal aid program when I first came. I have a lot of skills too that's not documented because sometimes the programs are not, the functioning is not up to par.
So what is your current job?
Right now everything shut down because of COVID. I'm assigned
Before
to the field
COVID,
line.
what was your job?
Oh, I just got transferred, so they reassigned me to the field line. I was outside all at the canteen, but once they transfer me to the main prison, they take your job away from you and they assign you to the farm line. And I only been down there 90 days. You can't apply for a job until 90 days is up.
Right. So you were at Camp D, you were the outside canteen orderly?
Yes, ma'am.
And then when you got moved to the field line?
Yes, ma'am. I was there.
Okay.
I had that job for over about at least 7 years.
Okay. So let me ask you this. There's no clear indication in the record of what a transition plan might look like for you, because it says in the information Angola provided to us when they asked you about employment and residence, it says you refused to provide any information. Why is that?
And no, I didn't refuse. We're having difficulties going through the process, the communication. Matter of fact, I wrote you a letter and explaining what I experienced, what I was expecting, and what was happening. That was over a month ago. I was explaining a lot of details that was happening. Like I say, everything is happening fast. If I could have talked to you on the phone, I would have, but
Can't do that.
Yeah, but then some of the things I stated in the letter, due to the fact that everything happening so fast, it wasn't that I needed more time, like 6 months to a year. It was just like 90 days or so, because the chain of command or everybody, hands full and miscommunications and misunderstandings. I tried. I due diligence. I
Well,
tried.
listen, let me just tell you where I'm standing. You know, I hear what you're saying. I understand about the moving and everything happening fast and the COVID situation and all that. I think you could benefit for some more programs. It sounds to me like you've been asking for it, you're waiting for it. But lacking the programs.
Which programs? I done took anger management is within 100 hours. Substance
I
abuse is in
understand.
100.
I just,
I
you
took all
know,
of
I
that
think
outside of
I
it.
think,
Matter of fact.
excuse me, sir, I'm
Oh, all
talking.
right. All right.
Victim awareness, thinking for change, some other rehabilitative programs that are available. And I know they're available there at the main prison. And I think, you know, this is not just about you getting out of jail, Mr. Lord, it's about staying out of jail.
Yes, ma'am.
And I just don't think that you're quite ready yet. I think you got some more work to do. So I don't have any other questions. I'd like to ask Warden Falgout if he has anything to say about you.
And the things that I have to add is that he did complete graphic communication in December of '07 while he's been here. He's currently on a waiting list for welding and the inmate council.
Oh, okay, good.
As of 12/6 of 21.
Okay,
Those things will
thank
be
you.
here at main prison.
All right, thank you. I don't have any other questions, Mr. Kelsey.
All right. Now we'll hear from Miss Linda. Brief statement from Miss Linda. All right, go ahead. Make your statement.
Good morning, Honorable Pardon and Parole Board. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Quincy is my only son, and he's also my only child, and we love each other very much. I raised him well, and he's been in church since he was a little boy at 8 years old, and he was faithful in church and Sunday school. Quincy has always been very respectful and kind and thoughtful person and get along well with others. He got off track for a while and followed the wrong type of people, but I seriously believe that he has learned from his mistake. Early in this incarceration, he took full responsibility for his actions, and he was remorseful about it and has since repented to God for that and for all of his other sins. Through the years, doing our visits and phone calls, I have watched him grow spiritually, and even today, he continually striving to live a life of faith in Jesus Christ and practice his teaching. Since Quincy has been away from me, he has never failed to send me greeting cards at every holiday, birthday, or special occasion. He's always looking for a way to be a blessing to someone. He loves to read books and love to read the Bible. He's a thinker. He's knowledgeable. He takes pride in his work. He has a lot of potential, and I believe the sky's the limit, and I'm excited about helping him to reach his potential. I do believe that Quincy has learned from his mistakes, and with time served, I believe he's paid his debt to society and is ready to be a good citizen and a productive member of society. Thank you, and God bless you.
All right, thank you, Miss Linda. Miss Erica.
Good morning. I'd like to thank you all for this opportunity. My cousin Quincy Lloyd, who is his mother's only child, has never been a bad person. Growing up, he's always been like my little brother. He has made some mistakes, made some bad choices of friends or people he thought were his friends. He made a bad choice and ended up in Angola. In his time there, I have noticed growth in him physically, mentally, and most of all, spiritually. He has used his time wisely by reading, studying, and learning about various topics. He encourages me and my kids about different situations. He often shares his life lessons with my young adult son, trying to help me to guide him down the right path. I would like to ask that you please consider Quincy Lloyd for parole. Please allow him another chance to make the right choices. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, Quincy, would you like to make a statement on your behalf?
I first of all, like I said, I like to thank God and Jesus Christ for allowing me this opportunity to be heard. And I appreciate y'all taking time out y'all day. I know I understand it's y'all job, but I appreciate y'all listening to me. At the same time, I had wrote a poem. I don't know if the family, I had wrote a poem years ago. I told my mother if she ever seen any of the people, speak to them for me and let them understand how I felt as being remorseful toward everything that happened. And like I say, I would like to reach out if is there any way I want to help build my community up instead of tear the community down. It's a lot of things that I want to do. You know, I want to help people in all type of ways, mentally, as far as health wise, spiritually. I want even the disabled. I want the disabled. It's different organizations I want to put together because I understand the victim is disabled. So there's things I want to do to help disabled people. There's things I want to do to help family people. I like I say, I appreciate this opportunity. If I could read it, is it okay if I could read something I wrote?
Yeah, go ahead and just briefly read
all right.
what you
I don't
got.
know. I didn't know. All right, I didn't know.
No,
Oh,
You can read it.
all right. I didn't know. All right.
you can, yeah.
All right. The poem I wrote a poem is called "A Daughter to Love." It says, "She is not of my blood, but she is a daughter to love. Life has dealt her some tragedies, and it's sad to say the greatest one may have been dealt by me. I am speaking like I actually know her. Well, I don't, but I know some drama that surrounds her. I guess you can say that I feel her pain because neither one of our lives will ever be the same. Yes, I am the one to blame, but this is not some childish game. This is real life where things happen in plain sight. Sometimes they're good, and sometimes they're bad. But most of all, this situation has made me sad, not because of all the things that I went through, but mostly because she won't probably be able to see her dreams come true. Just imagine, all of this started around a life of drugs, not knowing I would hurt somebody's daughter to love. My first offense was a drug charge 2 years prior to this situation right here. I was on probation when this happened, and I went and obtained CDL driver's license. And at the time, my probation officer, which was a female, I'm not saying anything toward females, but she wouldn't allow me to leave it. And in order for to have experience with CDLs, they would like for you to drive over the road to get experience. So I applied for several jobs, and I would eventually get laid off. And at the time when a lot of these things were happening, I was trying to keep my strength up. And as far as being a man, dealing with life and dealing with situations, because I am not the type of person that like to put my problems off on somebody else. I like to try to deal with my problems on my own. And at that particular time, it just felt I kept avoiding a lot of situations, and it just like the devil kept telling me, "Come on, come on, come on, come on." And eventually, I just gave in, and because I felt I wanted to. I felt less than a man. I wasn't able to provide for myself and the people around me, and I just feel like, man, this is gonna help me provide for my family, and not realizing that I was hurting somebody else's family, and not realizing that I was hurting the community, and not realizing that I was really destroying not only my family, but the family that was involved. I didn't realize none of that. But when I came to prison, I was able to a lot of the programs that y'all, like she said, I need more programs. I was able to understand before some of these programs even existed through life, and talking to a lot of the men that's in prison allowed me the opportunity to grow as a person. And a lot of these things I ended up learning hands-on without having to go to the program. But some of the programs, it is the design of it. I could see a lot of things that I had grew skills I have learned through socializing with people and dealing with life in general. And like I say, I appreciate y'all listening to me.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for your comments.
All right.
Panel prepared to vote. Ms. Renaud?
Yes, sir. Mr. Lloyd, I enjoyed listening to your family speak about you and their enthusiasm, and I do think you have great potential. But as I mentioned, I do believe, you mentioned things are moving so fast and you got moved to the main prison and this and that and the other. Well, they're trying to help you. That's why you're there at the main prison, because they understand that our expectation in terms of rehabilitative programs, because we want you to succeed.
Okay.
So my vote today is going to be to deny your parole, because I think you need more preparation. I realize there was a while where you didn't know that you were going to have this day. But I do think you need a little more preparation prior to release. I want you to take advantage of the program opportunities that Warden Falgout mentioned, and then reapply whenever you're eligible to do so. I failed to mention earlier that there is very strong law enforcement opposition to an early release. So we want to be sure you're prepared when that does happen for you. Good luck to you, sir.
All right. Can I ask you a question?
Ms. Pearl, let's go to vote. We'll go ahead and vote. Ms. Pearl?
Mr. Lloyd, you are the talker. I tell you, you are the talker. And this is your first hearing, and you only had 90 days to prepare. And I get that. I'm just hopeful for you. My vote is to grant because of the time served and the family support. But I do concur that you do need more programs. So if you're still there, sit on the front row and really pay attention.
Yes,
Good luck to you, sir.
All right.
All right,
Thank you.
you have one vote to deny and one vote to grant. Also, I'm going to vote to deny your parole today. You still need more programming, law enforcement opposition. I think you're heading in the right direction. You sound good. You're doing the things you need to. You're close, but put a little more time in and keep your head down, and maybe it'll be different next time. But today you have 2 votes to deny, 1 to grant. Your parole's been denied. Did you have a question now before we go?
Yes, you said law enforcement opposition, but there's no opposition here. Can I speak with them, or could at least we have a line of communication?
Listen, we reach out to everybody involved in the case, every victim, every law enforcement, every DA, every judge, and then they in turn give us what their feelings are. So that's just all part of the crime here. But so there he is. Okay.
I would like to talk.
So we have seen over 1,000 hearings. We're way over 1,000 since starting this, and we have never seen anyone read a poem as his final statement. I don't know. How do you feel about it? It was definitely a unique approach, and I thought that it was certainly better than hundreds of other final statements that we've heard. But again, was it the right move? So we'll unpack this case by looking at the details, and thank you, Richard, for providing it. When Miss Renatza first said, "Oh, that's your story? You were just the lookout? Interesting." I thought that she would go into what information she knew, but she didn't do that. So we'll go over the information. I scanned through it, but did not read it in detail. So I don't know if he's going to get called out for it. Let's find out. I'm really not sure. Maybe he was only the lookout. So, and then there's something else interesting I can share with you that Richard provided that is quite more than interesting, quite a dramatic happenstance with one of his co-defendants. Pretty intense and sad. What he ended up doing. So he got a 45 and 25 year sentence to run consecutive. So pretty much a life sentence. I mean, altogether, that's 60, 70 years. But he then appealed to have a right, and he wasn't going to have the right for parole, but he appealed and won that parole eligibility. And he appealed, not that it would have made a difference. Act 122 would have given him parole eligibility anyways. But around midnight on the evening of September 8th, 1999, members of Steve Goolsby's family were asleep in their home. And that is just to think of that. You're asleep in your home when you're awakened by intruders. Steve Goolsby, his wife Darlene, and his daughter were asleep in one bedroom, and Darlene's brother, Willie Hurd, were asleep in another bedroom. Darlene testified that she had heard the bedroom door being pushed open. The bedroom was dark, the only light coming in from the hallway through the open door. She saw 4 people standing in the doorway but could not see their faces. One of the men fired several shots toward the bed. One struck Darlene in the face and another hit Ethna on her side. What the? I mean, I did not expect that. So we have 4 people that were definitely there. That doesn't sound like he's standing lookout. Let's see where he falls into this situation. Was there a 5th person outside? But you break into a house and you just start shooting at people in their beds? Are you kidding me? Are you even kidding? I don't even understand that. It's just the most brutal and violent. How are they not all charged with attempted murder? And you might ask, where are the families in opposition? How come they're not in opposition? It's just the police, no DA, no, nothing, just the law enforcement. And it's possible that the victim were not notified of this hearing. We have seen it happen many times. And the parole board, they do the best job they can, but they still have a certain percentage margin of error where they don't. And if we come to next hearing and he's there and the family's there, we'll know why. And we will check up at his next hearing. Steve rolled out of bed, pulling Darlene to the floor with him. Steve told Etna to get up, but she was unable to move. Steve did not recognize the male intruder who commanded, "Come on out. I know you're over there. Come on out. Come on out. I got this 9. I got this 9. The intruder warned the Goldsbys not to try anything funny. Darlene recognized the voice of the gunman as that of Deltra Henderson, whom she had known since childhood. Oh my gosh. Wow. Actually, Deltra Henderson is the person who we're going to read next about in the story. So Steve put a clip in the .45 caliber pistol he kept under the bed and fired it out his bedroom window to get Luther Hurd's attention. Oh, so he had a gun he kept under the bed. Wow. Luther was Steve's other brother-in-law who lived in a mobile home behind a Goldsby's home. The intruders left as a result of the gunshot. Darlene's face is permanently disfigured and Ethna is paralyzed from the waist down. So he had 2 victims. One who was paralyzed from the waist down, one whose face is permanently disfigured. Again, I don't even know why they were only charged with aggravated burglary. Defendant was subsequently arrested and charged with aggravated burglary and attempted armed robbery. That doesn't make any sense. Although the victims were unable to identify the defendants as one of the perpetrators, it would have been attempted murder. Why not? Of the crimes, a jury found the defendant guilty on both charges based upon his confession to Detective Trey Fulton, which the defense unsuccessfully sought to suppress, and corroborating evidence and circumstantial evidence provided by the testimony of Robert Lloyd, the defendant's first cousin. Robert Lloyd testified that in the evening of September 8, 1999, he was with Deltra Henderson outside the East Side apartment in Farmville with Red Tempo arrived. Aaron Green, Jermaine Middleton, and the defendant were in the car. Deltra spoke with the occupants who returned to tell Robert and Aaron Green was talking about robbing Steve Goldsby. The Red Tempo then left. Later that evening, about 11 or 11:30, Robert again encountered the 3 men in Tempo in Farmerville. The trio parked their vehicle at a residence and joined Robert in Deltra's car. Deltra drove and parked at his former residence located about 2 blocks from the Goldsby's home. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Is it Goldsby? Goldsby? Aaron, related to the group, was going to rob Goldsby and asked Robert whether he was going with them. The defendant was armed with a shotgun, and Deltra and Aaron had 9mm pistols. Jermaine was unarmed. Okay. Jermaine was unarmed. Did they mention Quincy here? Okay, I lost my place. And sorry, I know some of you get upset when I do that, and I don't blame you. At that time, Robert decided not to participate. Jermaine, Aaron, Deltra, the defendant, left the parked car and walked in the direction of the Goldsby's home. I guess they're just calling him the defendant. Robert waited by Deltra's car for a total of 20 or 30 minutes. He heard several gunshots, and about 10 minutes later, and his idea not to participate, huh? That could be the best decision he ever made, unless he changed his mind. About 10 minutes later, the defendant, Aaron, and Jermaine returned to Deltra's car. Deltra and Aaron were still carrying their guns. Deltra did not return. Robert drove defendant, Aaron, and Jermaine to Deltra's car back to Tempo. Robert drove Deltra's car to a girlfriend's apartment. Robert did not see Deltra again until the next morning. Robert Lloyd's testimony corroborated statements made by the defendant, who was arrested in Monroe on September 14, 1999, in connection with the instant crime. Defendant told Detective Trey Fulton of the Union Parish Sheriff's Office that on the night of the crimes, he, Jermaine, and Aaron traveled from Monroe to Farmville in a red car to meet Deltra and Robert. They planned to go to Steve Goldsby's home to rob Goldsby of money. After joining Robert and Deltra, they rode to Deltra's old house, parked the car, and the defendant, Deltra, Aaron, and Jermaine began to walk towards Goldsby home to commit the robbery. Robert decided to stay by the car. Okay. Defendant said that he climbed into Goldsby's home through a window. So he's climbing into the window. That's not standing lookout. In Willie Hurd's bedroom, and then opened the front door for the rest of them. Whoa. He climbed through the window. He opened the front door for the men, everyone else. While Deltra and Jermaine went back to Steve Goldstein's bedroom, the defendant stayed mid down the hallway holding a shotgun. And Aaron stood at the front door. After hearing a barrage of gunfire, the defendant left the house without firing the shotgun he carried. So what? The defendant, Aaron, and Jermaine returned to the car, but Deltra did not. I mean, you go into a home with the shotgun, you're the one who climbs in and opens the door. You're not a lookout, dude. You are just as culpable. We have covered cases where there have been people who are lookouts where they never went into the home. They were outside, where actually in those cases, no one had a weapon, but someone was brutally hurt. And I feel it's completely different. In this case, no, dude. You can't call yourself a lookout at your parole hearing. I am just so glad they did not approve him. That would have been insane. Robert drove the defendant, Aaron, and Jermaine back to the red car, and they went back to Monroe. Defendant discarded the shotgun in a trash dumpster in Monroe. The shotgun was never recovered. At trial, Fulton made in a court identification of the defendant at the person who gave the statement September 15th. And the whole thing is so... I never understood these robberies. It's like you're going to go into a house with 4 or 5 or 6 other people involved. What stash are you expecting to get? How much money? And then you're going to plan on throwing away your shotgun, which now, like, that costs money too. I mean, you got to split it between, like, it's not even thought. It's just so dumb. A jury of 12 convicted the defendant as charged. His oral motion for post-verdict judgment of acquittal was denied by the trial court. Defendant waived sentencing delays. The court sentenced the defendant to imprisonment for 45. Okay. Yeah, he just lied. That is not a lookout, dude. You actually are the one that climbed through the window and opened the door. And again, I don't get why they don't get attempted murder. I just don't get it. That makes no sense. I mean, there are laws that put everyone involved in that crime would get the same punishment. I'm telling you, these things don't make sense. To me, I don't understand it. But I don't know why. It seemed, I would think Ms. Renazza would have had this info. I don't know why no one called him out on it. I just don't. But hey, on his next parole hearing, maybe he'll try to pull the same stunt and he'll get denied and be totally caught off guard because of that denial. It's just crazy. I was a lookout. You mean you crawled into the house, opened the door so your buddies could come in and do that to them? You were a lookout. So the guy who pulled the trigger, he did something pretty crazy. He tried to escape prison in 2015. Oh no, he requested a shorter prison sentence in 2015, was denied. So an escapee who was accused of killing a 19-year-old girl before law enforcement officials. Oh, wait a minute. So I'm confused about this. This is the same person, Deltra Henderson. Oh, okay, sorry. He escaped the prison and killed a 19-year-old girl who was the assistant warden's daughter. So he escapes prison. This was the guy who was involved in this same crime. Kidnaps the warden's daughter and kills her. That's what happened. An escapee inmate who was accused of killing a 19-year-old girl before law enforcement officials killed him in a standoff was in prison after pleading guilty to 1999 armed robbery. Deltra Henderson was the fourth suspect arrested after September 1999 armed robbery. Here they list it. Was also arrested in conjunction with the incident. All were charged with 3 counts of attempted first-degree murder. Oh, see, here it says that they got the first degree, but again, they didn't try him on that, which I don't understand. In 1999, the Union Parish Sheriff Bob Buckley said the armed robbery occurred when 4 people entered a home. During the attempted robbery, a 14-year-old girl and her mother were seriously wounded. They didn't state the age. A 14-year-old girl and a mom. These guys, these cowards, go into a home at night and just shoot into a bed, and a 14-year-old girl and their mother. You can't. Sorry, but no, I'm not sorry. He took a plea deal regarding the robbery in April 2001. Sentence included distribution, 10 years concurrent attempted armed robbery, 30 years concurrent aggravated burglary, 30 years. Oh, that was the plea deal that he took. He's been locked up in David Way Correction since June 4, 2001. His sentence began a month earlier in Elon Correctional. In 2015, Henderson petitioned for the judge to reduce his sentence. Yeah, right. He said he was deeply remorseful and highlighted his status as a first offender. Since being in prison, Henderson argued that he had completed a variety of programs in order to become a better person and a better member of society. While in prison, he earned his GED and a VOTEC auto mechanic certification. I mean, hey man, if he hadn't done this, maybe he would have gotten paroled. He was a member of AA. Whew, Maribella would have liked him. Human Relations Club, Alternative Island Project. He also took parenting, anger management, stress management, and grief and loss. Guys, look at all those programs. In his pleading, Henderson said at the time of this offense was just a young man running around with the wrong crowd. The request was declined. Oh man. Henderson had a good time release date. He had a good time release date of March 20 of 2025. And he still did this with a good time release date 10 years after getting denied. He couldn't help himself. Are you kidding me? Henderson, now 39, was found to be missing from the state prison. Around 1:40 p.m., a manhunt started, according to the informant of Louisiana Department of Corrections. They found a wreck about 520 miles. I don't know, about a mile from the prison. They determined Henderson had stolen and crashed it. The deceased victim, Amanda Carney, whom authorities were saying was the stepdaughter of the assistant warden at the prison was found another quarter-mile to the northeast near a dirt road connected to the highway. Henderson is believed to have kidnapped and killed her. Like, why? Why kill her? Why? Seriously. And then he was found and they had a shootout. He had a gun. But that is, come on. I mean, I know that was his co-defendant. So he had just 10 more years till a good time date. Think about that. He took all those programs and what does he do? He kidnaps the assistant warden's daughter, kills her in cold blood. For the fun of it, it seems. And then has a shootout. All this because he didn't even, he had 10 more years. For a good time date, he could have gone out earlier on parole. If that's not, don't tell that to the risk score people. They're not going to like that. And I don't know. I don't have any other articles on this story. It's you would think it'd be a huge national story. These things don't happen every day, and it didn't happen a long time. I mean, it happened in 2017. And how does it make you feel about his co-defendant now, or his little poem? Scary stuff, man. Scary stuff. With that, I'll let you go.